they want.
Jalen, the Nuggets forced a Game 7 against the Clippers. Lamar Jackson looked great. Russell Wilson looked great. Aaron Rodgers looked great. But we start with a quarterback that did not, and that is Tom Brady in his new uniform playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He struggled through 2 interceptions in a loss to the Saints. Do you think this is just some growing pains and they'll get on the same page, or do you expect them to continue to struggle as this year goes on?
Well, Tom Brady didn't necessarily just struggle. He looked old, and that's what happens. It reminded me of being the dude at the park and you come show up and everybody know you got game and they already played a couple of games and you get out there, your game ain't the same. You like, hold up, I got to stretch. Y'all got to give me a second to warm up. And then when you get back out there, you're a lot better. That's what I saw from Brady. He was looking like a Jameis Winston 2.0, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, 1 pick six. That is not Tom Brady. They will continue to improve offensively, but I was disappointed in game 1 just like everybody else.
Yeah, he didn't look great. I didn't see Rob Gronkowski impacting the game whatsoever, but I do want to tip my hat to the Saints and Drew Brees and Alvin Kamara, who just score and score and score, and their defense showed up as well. Do you think the Saints are one of your favorites in the NFC?
Definitely they are, but you know what I like even more? Alvin Kamara's grill. You know, he got diamond out. You know, you got to make sure you get that fat new deal. They used him like they were going to use him a lot last year, I think, but they got so pass happy. And for him to play the way he played, and I love that fake at the end of the game, that's how you needle your opponents in your division.
Jalen, late at night, after watching 10 straight hours of football, there was a critical call at the end of the Rams-Cowboys game. Everyone's talking about it today. It is the offensive pass interference call on Gallup and on Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey, in my mind, sold it. I would not have made the call. What did you think about this OPI call from the ref?
I think I need to make a call to tell my mother how much I love her, because watching football these past couple of weekends, try drinking a shot or any of your favorite beverages when you hear the word Jalen. They're involved in every play and everything that happens over the weekend, including this play. And for those who watch a lot of football like us, this happened to the Bengals and A.J. Green late. Sometimes they will call that on the offensive player. Sometimes they don't. So when they do call it, I am surprised because they don't always call it. But by the rule, it is pass interference.
Technically, by the rule, it is pass interference, but when you watch it live action, not slow-mo from the game angle, it did not look like anything abnormal whatsoever. I was pretty shocked they called it. Even when you watch the replay, I certainly think that Ramsey sold it a little bit, and that obviously helps get the call. But I'm glad you brought up the A.J. Green call as well, because I wouldn't have called that one either. We'll talk about the Bengals later, but I also think that it's important that we recognize the big decision from McCarthy to go for it on 4th and 3 when he could have kicked a field goal to tie the game. What do you think about that decision in that play?
See, here's what happens. So you're a championship coach. You get hired by the Cowboys, and you got all of these offensive weapons. You got Zeke in the backfield. They take CeeDee Lamb in the first round. You want to get these guys involved. Dak just got his franchise tender signed. Amari got his deal signed. And so all of a sudden, you want to rush greatness. You want to show them that you believe in them. I don't have to tell you, Jacoby, you got more kids than anybody. You can't rush the baby. I know they say 9 months, but sometimes it's going to happen in 4 months. Sometimes it's going to be on time. And that's what he was trying to do. You must kick the field goal. You only got 17 points. Okay, so you need to get points and then hope your defense can now get a stop. And then you try for your touchdown drive.
Yeah, I really feel like this was McCarthy trying to make a statement. McCarthy trying to set the tone. It's a new day in Dallas. And he did the unconventional thing. Well, sometimes it's unconventional because it's dumb. And I did feel like this was just a bad decision of McCarthy trying to set the tone. What are you trying to say, Mr. Rose? Why are you stopping
It's
me?
not unconventional nowadays because he said he did it because of the analytics.
Analytics.
And you know,
I knew you were going to say that.
You already know that my head exploded when I heard that. And it goes back to everything I've been saying. Those should be a tool, not the toolbox.
It's time for Soft Move or Boss Move. Jalen, one of the biggest revelations from the Cowboys-Rams game wasn't the play on the field. It was the tattoo on the stomach of Ezekiel Elliott. He's famous for his celebration, his feed me celebration after long runs. But take a look at this tattoo. Huge tattoo on his stomach that says feed me with a spoon next to it. Jalen, soft move or boss move, Ezekiel Elliott's feed me tattoo?
I think it's a boss move because that's actually how he eats. You know what I'm saying? Playing football, getting multiple carries, getting millions of dollars to tote the rock, it does make sense. And I know for a lot of people, it's like, if I look like that, yeah, I would have my abs out as well. But I will also acknowledge, Zeke makes sure we looking at his stomach. He makes sure when he come out of the house, we looking at his stomach.
Ever since college. I'm going to say soft move on this one because retired athletes go one of two ways. They either stay in shape and get skinny or they get big. And Zeke got that look like he's going to get big. So this is just going to be a big blotch on his big belly when he's in his 50s. You got to think long-term, young man. You got to think long-term. Back to the action on the field. Tom Brady obviously played for the Buccaneers, and it was Cam Newton. Say it, Jalen. Say it, Jalen.
Oh, Cam
Newton for the Patriots looked like a very different quarterback under center for that team. He ran and he ran. He ran for touchdowns. He looked good. He ran 19 times or 15 times, only 19 passing attempts, 75 yards and 2 touchdowns. Do you think this is the blueprint for success for Cam and the Patriots for this season?
I think it's the blueprint for this season, keeping his pass attempts down, their rush attempts high, their defense fresh to make plays in a division that they've owned for 2 decades. Even if they don't win a division and a team like Buffalo jumps up and takes the division, I still believe they get into the playoffs. And if they do win a division and get into the playoffs with this style, they will have a chance to win a game or 2. But I don't believe with this team, that style, those weapons, they even get near the AFC Championship, not a Super Bowl contending team. And I feel like they're using Cam like hustle money. I felt like if this was long-term and they felt like that they were going to invest in Cam, they wouldn't be playing like this. But this is why I say he's only going to be there 1 year. They like run it 15 times, run it 35 times, Cam, between the tackles, Josh McDaniels fist pumping and all of that. But at the end of the year, when Cam go back to renegotiate, they can be like, you took a lot of hits, dog. You took a lot of hits, dog. But it was great to see Cam back out there playing football, scoring touchdowns.
Cam looked happy. McDaniels looked happy. Belichick looked happy. But you make a good point. If Cam signed a 4-year deal with the Patriots, would they run him 15 times? Would they? I don't think so. I really don't think so. This seems like a 1-year experiment for McDaniels and Belichick to have some fun, get some wins, lose in the first round of the playoffs, and then look for a quarterback to replace him next year when he moves on. We will move on to something very interesting that was happening during the early games in the NFL. I was going back and forth between the NFL opening week slate and an NBA playoff game between the Clippers and the Nuggets. And in the first half, I said to myself, you know what? I can just watch football because this game's not even close. This is not going to be close. Denver had a great run, but now we get to finally see the Lakers and the Clippers in the second half. Denver came storming back, led by Jokic, the stretch mark 5. Jalen, what did you see from Denver to force this Game 7?
Jacoby, there's something that can take place in this Game 7 that would force me to immediately need therapy. You want me to tell you what that is?
What's that?
My obsession for that man right there, Nikola Jokic, is just not healthy. It can't be. Like it can't be. I love his game so much. He's first team All-NBA center for me the last 2 years. The best in the game. And it ain't even close. It's some other good ones. Embiid comes to mind. Jokic is that dude. This is their 4th Game 7. They're trying to come back from 3-1. Okay? For the second time in consecutive series. And when I look at the stat sheet in the regular season and in the playoffs, guess what I see? 30, 10, 5, balling, mid-range, off 1 foot. Like, if they beat the Clippers, I might need therapy.
You might need therapy. I do like that you mentioned his mid-range game, but something that's just a lost art in today's NBA. When they really need a bucket, Jokic will shoot a little one-legged 17-foot turnaround. And those 3 threes he hit in the fourth quarter were great shots that he sort of rimmed in, but he was wide open. After he just hit 2 threes in a row, you're going to leave him wide open again. And you know I love the stretch mark 5. Do you know why I love him? Because he looks like me with his shirt off. You know what? That's why I love him. It's just so relatable. He's so slow. He can't guard in the pick and roll at all, but he's just such a great offensive weapon that they keep him on the floor. Now, Jalen, I noticed something in this Clippers game that I never thought I would say. Ooh. Their second team, led by Lou Will and Montrezl Harrell, has been one of the strengths of this Clippers team throughout the entire season. But in this game, those two got picked on the other end. Montrezl Harrell couldn't even stay in the game because of the way that they were scoring on him so easily. And they were also just finding Lou Will and scoring on him as well. Jalen, do you think that these two that were so good all season long are an asset or a liability for the Clippers heading in to the pivotal Game 7?
In this series, a liability, and that's okay. This is where Kawhi and Paul George got to be spectacular, and Morris got to be brilliant, and other players got to pick it up for them. This is why you have to be able to play different styles in order to advance. And those long wings, Beasley and Craig, and the defensive Harris, they're giving them problems. Let's see how those dudes perform in Game 7.
It's going to be a great one. What else is going to be great? Aaron Rodgers and Jacoby. It's time for the segment where Jalen decides what we discuss. It's called Keep It Moving.
Tang! Woo! Tang!
Jalen, if you want to discuss the topic, say hit the brakes. If not, me, you, and Method Man jump in the minivan and keep it moving. And we start with the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers with a great performance over the Vikings. Keep moving or hit the brakes.
I know you saw Method Man in the new Power Book of Ghosts. Hit the brakes.
Jalen, 4 touchdowns, 364 yards for the Packers. What sort of a statement did this game make for the NFC?
As somebody that roots for a team in his division and have seen their team always have a great quarterback, remember, I was not somebody that got upset that they took a quarterback in the first round, because since Aaron Rodgers has been there, they have never taken a wide receiver in the first round. So I wasn't surprised. They continue to build out their roster so their squad has balance. And now you see Adams catching 2 touchdowns. You see Jones getting a touchdown. And Aaron Rodgers looks like an elite quarterback that can play balanced football against a great defense in the Vikings.
Maybe just drafting Jordan Love was just what Aaron Rodgers needed. Maybe just that little motivation to put a little chip on his shoulder to make him look that good. And one thing that this did expose outside of how good Aaron Rodgers is the Vikings secondary. They are in trouble. But we move on. Lamar Jackson and
hit the brakes.
Ravens absolutely dominating. He didn't even have to play in the fourth quarter against the lowly Browns. Jalen, I have Chiefs-Ravens on a collision course in the AFC Championship game. This did not convince me otherwise. What did you see from this game?
I'll get to the Ravens in a second because you know I love their D-backs and how physical they are. And I saw Dobbins get 2 touchdowns. I saw Andrews, and they're going to be flying high. But let me talk about the Browns, who played like crap yesterday. I got 2 words for Baker Mayfield. On the field, I'm not talking about off the field. On the field, Johnny Manziel. I never thought I'd live in a world where Baker Mayfield was getting more commercials than Odell Beckham Jr. Hey, dog, let me tell you something. He's played 17 games with their team. In 15 of those games, Odell Beckham didn't get 100 yards receiving. It's getting ugly in Cleveland.
You know Odell Beckham hasn't showed it yet, but you know on the inside he is very upset, and that is something that we will keep an eye on because I don't see this Browns team turning it around anytime soon. Moving on to a team that seemed to has turned it around the last couple seasons, and that is the Arizona Cardinals, who got a win over the Super Bowl team, the 49ers. Jalen, Kyler Murray, and DeAndre Hopkins, the future in Arizona.
Absolutely. So anybody that follows Jalen and Jacoby know that Jalen got a chance to spend time with their head coach, Kingsbury, in the offseason. DeAndre Hopkins, friend of the show, he'll be back on again and again. And we told you guys, Kyler Murray was just bubbling last year, playing every game, getting better. And then all of a sudden, they line up against the 49ers who won the NFC last year. And D-Hop catches 14 footballs against them. And it should have been a second touchdown if they didn't stop him on the one. This is great progress for a Cardinals team when you can beat a squad like that in the opening week.
And Kyler Murray didn't just do it throwing the ball to DeAndre Hopkins. He had a great touchdown run that was really impressive that showed some of the running skills that he had at Oklahoma. Murray, Hopkins, Kingsbury is a trident of offensive brains and bodies that I look forward to watching for years to come in Cardinals uniform. But Jalen, the old stalwart, just like Aaron Rodgers, is always going to be there in the NFC. In the Cardinals division, that is Russell Wilson and the Seahawks.
Hit the brakes.
Hit the brakes on them. Again, another over 300 yards, 4 touchdown performance. This time it was Wilson. What did you see from the Seahawks?
For the Falcons, it was good to see really hit his head on the goalpost a couple of times in the end zone. But for the Seahawks, Russell Wilson is just so very good, man. Mm-hmm. It's almost like if you were talking about who the best rushing quarterbacks, Russell Wilson. Best with the deep ball, Russell Wilson. Best decision-making, Russell Wilson. Best on short yardage, Russell Wilson. Third down, situational football, Russell. And then all of a sudden, Carson has become a 3-down bell cow type of back. You could throw it to him. You could run between the tackles. He had 2 touchdowns. He's such an underrated running back when you start talking about the best in the game.
He really is. Carson was great out of the backfield catching passes. I think you'll see a lot more from him, which is something you haven't seen a lot from the Seahawks. Great performance from the Seahawks. The NFC is just really has a lot of good teams in it, where the AFC, I see 2 good teams at the moment. Jalen, moving to NBA, Mike D'Antoni will not return as the head coach for the Rockets.
No surprise. No surprise. Keep it moving.
We keep it moving. We keep it moving.
Giannis Antetokounmpo did something that lit social media on fire this weekend. He moved and hit the brakes.
Leaving. Keep it moving for now.
We keep it moving. We keep it moving.
In Chicago, we had a no-hitter
Hit the brakes
from an unlikely source. Alec Mills, a man who walked on to his college baseball team, went in the 22nd round of the draft. I didn't know the draft had 22 rounds, and he threw a no-hitter for the Cubs. What a moment for him. What do you think of it?
I just wanted to carry it back, talk about football as a former basketball player, and you give him props for getting a no-hitter, because I believe that's what will happen if I tried to play Major League Baseball.
Jalen, we have to talk about it. What happened at the end of the Detroit Lions
Hit the brakes.
game?
Hit the brakes. Hit the
Okay.
brakes. Meow.
Jalen.
Meow.
Jalen.
Meow.
Matt Stafford drops back. Seconds left in the game. Throws a perfect pass to rookie running back DeAndre Swift. And let's just watch what happens. This could be a game. I really thought he caught it because we were behind the camera. Jalen, I have a theory. This is going to really impact DeAndre Swift's career moving forward. If he catches that, he's the hero. He feels great about himself. But now he spends every second of every day moving forward concerned about that drop of that pass. This is the most Lions thing to happen in such a long time. How do you feel? Is there one word that encapsulates how you feel as a Lions fan right now?
Meow. I mean, our big offseason move puts his head into the referee. They could have let him stay in the game, but when you put your helmet against an official, the rule says that they eject you, so he gets ejected. Then Mitchell Trubisky throws for 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and our first-round running back after Adrian Peterson, the oldest running back in the league.
And welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, watching all the football this weekend, what did you think about the way that the NFL players and coaches expressed themselves in the fight against social injustice?
A constant reminder that it's a business relationship. Whether the fans are booing when Kansas City and the Houston Texans are locking arms, or the same thing in this scenario. You guys want to pay to support and patronize our product? Cool. How much you going to pay us? All right, we'll get out there and play. But you're going to listen to what we have to say more than just how fast we run and how high we jump. So I appreciate the field position that has been garnered over the last 4 years. From when Colin first took a knee and the NFL ostracized him and whiteballed him out of the league, to the point where now players are doing it and the league itself isn't in an uproar. I appreciate the progress, but I laughed when I saw the end racism was outside the end zone. Come on now.
I could barely see it. Highly Questionable is next. We'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. on ESPN.